We brought some special products to the Middle East for the first time in the last year. The Lagonda, all of you supported at the beginning of the year. You can see some spectacular products also on the front. And it's a great pleasure for me to bring our Chief Design Director, Chief from the UK, Marek Reichman, and also to have Simon Sproul here, our brand commercial global director. So you're all welcome on the stand after we finish. But first of all, let me hand you over to Marek Reichman. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Two fabulous cars in front of you. I'm going to talk briefly about DB10. DB10, as you know, is James Bond's car. It's DB10 because there are only 10 cars. We've had a 50-year relationship with James Bond. This is the 24th movie. In those 50 years, we've only had cars in movies 12 times, but we've never designed a car just for James Bond. The DB10 is just for James Bond. Unfortunately, you can't buy the car. There will be one car that will be auctioned for charity at the beginning of next year. So some lucky collector will get to own the only available James Bond car on the market. The car is evident of Aston Martin's future DNA. It really shows a glimpse of what's to come. It's very rare, very special. It has the pounce, the drama, the attitude of an Aston Martin, but it's just for James Bond. If you see the movie, it really is the star of the show. And everything that you see in the movie, the car actually does. It's not CGI, the car performs. This is a true performance car. Built in Gaydon, designed in Gaydon, engineered in Gaydon. It's capable of 190 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, so it is a real car for James Bond. You'll notice the front headlamps, the front of the car, the drama, the shark-like features that the car has. James Bond is a predator. This car is also a predator. And just like James Bond, it's a little bit naughty. It does some extreme things. It has some gadgets that you see in the movie. A truly exciting product. That was on the streets of Dubai a couple of nights ago, an incredible scene. And as I mentioned, 24 only Vulcans. These two cars share a great DNA. They're both made of carbon fiber. They both have naturally aspirated engines. The Vulcan is the rarest Aston Martin we've ever produced for sale. In fact, there are fewer Vulcans going to be made than people have traveled in the space shuttle. It's quite an interesting fact. It's all carbon fiber. It has a naturally aspirated V12 engine, 1,300 kilos, 850 horsepower. In terms of feel, in terms of driving, excitement, it doesn't get much better than a Vulcan. An incredible car for collectors, an incredible car for drivers. It's a track-based car with all the latest technology and the knowledge that we have within Aston Martin, our racing capabilities and our production capabilities and facilities in Gaydon. The car's unique in many, many ways. As I mentioned, all carbon fiber and all carbon fiber tub. Formula One technology in terms of how the engine is built and manufactured, unique lamp designs. Again, this car also points to a future production model as well. So imagine we already have an incredibly exciting lineup of cars on the stand. Imagine the future at Aston Martin with these two great examples to set us forward into the future, into our second century plan. The car is still for sale. There are only a few left. Please enjoy the stand, come on board. I can talk you personally through both Vulcan, DB10 and all the other great cars on the stand. Thank you very much for listening.
And I'm here with Marek, Chief Design Officer at Aston Martin. Thank you very much for your time. I want to ask you some really quick questions with regards to the Aston Martin brand and the logo, what it signifies. Obviously, there's quite a number of different car manufacturers that are here, but tell me how Aston Martin are quintessentially different.
Well, an Aston Martin is the most luxurious sports car you can buy. I mean, it is, by the way, the car that James Bond drives. And as you can see on the show stand, we've got a DB10.
Yeah.
We're only making 10 of them. They're only for James Bond. Just appeared in the movie Spectre. So a little bit of an insight of who we are and what we do. We do things very exclusively, very rare. We have very limited production run cars. We're 102 years old,
Yeah.
and in 102 years we've only made around 70,000 cars.
Wow.
So it's a very, very rare brand.
Yeah.
We're inclusive in terms of we let anyone see what we do. We open up the factory. We're very open in terms of our philosophy, but the cars we make are handmade and very, very rare.
Right, okay. And tell me about kind of some of the thought processes, some of the design styles or ideas that you have, when there's a blank canvas and you're looking at perhaps producing the next Aston Martin automobile. What types of things do you think about? Where do your inspiration come from?
You know, an Aston Martin is a sports car.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we have a mantra that is power. That's the obvious bit. It's not just power of horsepower, though. It's the power of the mark. It's the power of what is an Aston Martin to its customer.
Yeah.
Beauty, which is the bit that I'm really responsible for, is making our cars beautiful. We make beautiful cars. And soul. So we have power, beauty, and soul. And the soul is the heritage. It's 102 years of history, of people, of racing, of great characters, of great engines, great designers, great engineers, great CEOs. So that's our heritage through soul. And the beauty bit and our mantra, our ethos, it's about making something beautiful. And it's not fashionable. It has a style. It has a sense of style. It's a little bit like going to Savile Row. You can go to have a suit made on Savile Row in the 60s and still look sharp in the suit today.
Yeah.
That's really, really important because there's a sense of style that you get. And beauty gives us style. It gives us timeless appeal.
Yeah.
And what we always like to say is that we wear our label on the inside. We're not overt. We make beautiful, stylish cars that are forever beautiful, and they're characters. They're appealing to people. They have a nature that makes you want to put the thumbs up at them.
Yeah.
There's something that, again, if you're in a traffic jam, you're waiting to pull out, someone will let you out. They will let you out into traffic and say, hey, great car.
Yeah.
Wherever we go in the world, and we are British, we're a quintessentially British company,
Yeah.
but we have an international flavor because of the global appeal that we have, and beauty is universal. So what is beautiful to someone in the UK is beautiful to someone here in Dubai, is beautiful to someone based in America. Because beauty crosses all those boundaries, it crosses cultural boundaries as well. So it's really, really important that we have beautiful cars.
Right, okay, brilliant, and it's well achieved. So tell me a little bit more about this marketplace. You touched on it in what you just mentioned about Dubai and the UAE having a particular importance. How important would you say that marketplace is for you?
Yeah, it is. I mean, again, this is one of the homes of luxury, and as I said, we make luxury sports cars, and this marketplace in itself, we've actually developed cars purely for this market. The Lagonda was launched here.
Right,
Our Super Sedan was launched just for the Middle Eastern market.
Yeah.
And that was really, really important because we have a customer set here, a group of clients, customers, collectors based in the Middle East, in Dubai, in other areas of the UAE, that really want our cars to collect, and that's important. So it's important from pleasing those customers, but it's also important to bring something different to the marketplace because our cars are beautiful and they are balanced. It's about performance and comfort.
Yeah.
It's about engineering and design. It's about the technical aspect, but also the softer side. So really, when you're buying an Aston Martin, it's an everyday car. It's something you can use just to drive down the street and be relaxed, or you can put it in track mode and take it to a track. Or if you really feel inclined, you can buy a Vulcan for £1.5 million and just spend all your days on the track. And we drove that one on the street here the other night. So there are lots of, if you like, dichotomies in what we do in terms of having power and beauty and being a sports car, but also being luxurious as well.
Right, okay. And what would you say is your personal favourite? If I had to ask you and I twisted your arm and said, choose one, just one, that you could drive for now and for the end of time, what would it be?
Do I have to drive just one?
Yeah, just one.
Only one.
Just one.
That's a really tough one. That's it. I mean, honestly, it's a question that I'm always at pains. And if I had to drive just one, I'd probably be driving right now DB10, because I'd like to be James Bond for a while.
Just for a little moment.
Just for a little moment.
So I noticed one of the most impressive things that I saw on your stand, and you're showcasing quite a number of automobiles here, is the Q Series Vanquish.
Yeah.
Really like it.
Yeah.
And I understand from the representative that I spoke with, that's the interior is almost completely customizable, so you can pretty much pick whatever. Tell me a little bit more about the thinking behind that.
Yeah, Q's very, very important. Q by Aston Martin is very important for us because it's the individual customer's choice. So the customer comes to work with myself or my team to specify their car.
Right.
And as you say, on the inside of the car, you can choose your leather colors, unique to you, the stitch lines, engraving, different materials, different gloss levels, different carbon fibers, stainless steels, golds, other alloys, whatever you would like, we can incorporate onto the inside of the car. And then the outside, again, colors, the variation of colors and material. It's like going and having your personal tailor suit you out with the car that is really to your taste, to your desires, and we work together. So we work together to get the best out of your feeling. And what normally happens is a client will come along and say, look, I like these things, I collect this kind of art, I love these colors, I have other cars in these colors, what do you think? And then we work together to develop a theme and a style just for that customer.
What would you say is the most obscure request that you've had?
The most obscure request I've had actually was my thought pattern back, because someone wanted a different looking Aston Martin badge.
Okay.
And the original Aston Martin badge comes from Egyptology.
Okay, yeah.
And it's a scarab beetle that's opened up.
Yeah.
So we actually got scarab beetle wings and inlaid them into the badge. So someone has a green scarab beetle badge on the front and back of their car. And there's only two. One's on the front, one's on the back. And there'll never be another one.
Amazing. Well, look, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for your time.
I'm Marek Reichman from Aston Martin, and this is Fashionable.